Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, depending where you are in the world. We're doing the nighttime devotion. We had a wonderful Sabbath. From the devotional Maranatha, the title today, Climactic Moment. Malachi 3, verse 2. Who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. The people of Israel, because of their sinfulness, were forbidden to approach the mount when God was about to descend upon it to proclaim his law, lest they should be consumed by the burning glory of his presence. If such manifestations of his power marked the place chosen for the proclamation of God's law, how terrible must be his tribunal when he comes for the execution of these sacred statutes. How will those who have trampled upon his authority endure his glory in the great day of final retribution? When the divine presence was manifested upon Sinai, the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire. But when Christ shall come in glory with his holy angels, the whole earth shall be ablaze with the terrible light of his presence. Never since man was created had there been witnessed such a manifestation of divine power as when the law was proclaimed from Sinai. Amid the most terrific convulsions of nature, the voice of God, like a trumpet, was heard from the cloud. The mountain was shaken from base to summit, and the hosts of Israel, pale and trembling with terror, lay upon their faces upon the earth. He whose voice then shook the earth has declared, "Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven." When Moses came from the divine presence in the mount, where he had received the tables of the testimony, guilty Israel could not endure the light that glorified his presence. How much less can transgressors look upon the Son of God when he shall appear in the glory of his Father, surrounded by all the heavenly host, to execute judgment upon the transgressors of his law and the rejectors of his atonement? But amid the tempest of divine judgment, the children of God will have no cause for fear. The Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. The day that brings terror and destruction to the transgressors of God's law will bring to the obedient joy unspeakable and full of glory. That title again, Climactic Moment. Now, this, of course, is talking about when Jesus comes. And it talks about in all his glory. And I love the way it says how when Moses spent those 40 days with God up the mountain, and on his descent, the people of Israel had to put a cloth over his head because they could not stand to see the glory that was shining from him from being in God's presence. And that was just 40 days. So it then says, just imagine what the glory will be like, which Jesus will bring, who is the pure, refined, just unadulterated, just pure glory. And so when it says God will cleanse the earth with fire, this is what it's referring to. His glory will be the refiner's fire, but well, not the refiner's fire. His glory will be those as they call hellfire, which will just burn up the sinners. And only those that are of Jesus will be taken up, because they will not be burnt up. When the divine presence was manifested upon Sinai, the glory of the Lord was devouring, like a devouring fire. Just like when Christ shall come in all his glory, the whole earth shall be ablaze with the terrible light of his presence. This also draws me takes me to Daniel, or not Daniel, the 3 Hebrew boys, when they were thrust into the fire, the furnace, fiery furnace. And I believe that God changed that to his fire, his glory. And because the boys were of good standing with God, they weren't burnt up by it. But those men that pushed them in got burnt up by it because they were full of sin. And this is the difference. God can change things in an instant. Why do we doubt him so? He can change us, but that's in his time. And that's also down to us that we want to be changed. I know I do.